All right, we're live now. Chris is joining, and today we're going to be talking about lots of things. So if you haven't met us before, my name's Ben. We also have Chris, who is joining. We run this group. We also used to do this thing called Off the Record, where we had a lot of fun. And the goal today is we'll bring that back for a town hall, because there's been lots of Airtable news recently. Here we go.
Oh, I hope this will keep working.
Chris, maybe you want to turn the music down a hair?
Yeah. You don't have soft music to deal with all the changes.
I mean, I love the soft music.
How do I don't know. Okay. I've never done a Facebook Live. I'm too old for this. The nice thing, I can still do screen sharing. I just will do it this way. I'll just hold the screen up. And we can talk about Airtable.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right, okay. Just making sure. So Ben, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a super busy few months. We got married. We're having a kid, expecting a kid in February, and just been doing consulting, which you've been trying to get me out of.
Only because I've even done some polls on the group. People want the support and apparently the education.
Yeah, we got really good feedback from that forum.
Right. So. Oh yeah, did you see the forum? I shared it. I don't know if I shared it with you, but we got a lot of feedback from people. Yeah. I now know what people are willing to pay.
Yeah.
So should we start from the beginning and introduce ourselves?
Yeah, we've already done that. There's been a ton of, we used to do off the record, and now there's a ton of people who aren't aware of off the record. And we'd say, yeah, you want to start?
Sure. So, hi everyone, my name is Chris Dancy. First, thank you for all of you who send me messages on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Reddit and all those places saying, hey, I follow you on Facebook for the Airtable group. This group would not be possible without Ben, so big thank you to Ben. Ben and I got together what seems to be 5 years ago, but probably is more like 3. And we were doing hangouts on Clubhouse. We were doing hangouts on Clubhouse. It was super cool, and I fell in love with Ben instantly, so much so that I drove to watch him get married recently. He's such he's an incredible, crazy good guy. And then we started doing the group. Ben got this group and got it going. We've been trying to grow it. If you don't know me, I love Airtable. I run my life on it, but I also have lately been doing a lot of low projects for customers. And I'm just so thankful to be in the group, and I'm so thankful for Ben. We've had 3 Airtable conferences. The first one was virtual. The second one was in person in Austin, Texas. And we just had one in San Francisco where Ben was tired. Ben, do you remember how tired you were?
I was sick. I think I had food poisoning.
Oh, yeah, food poisoning. Hi, Kim. We love you, Kim. Thank you. I saw Airtable say hi, too. I've always wondered how, when the people are streaming stuff, how do they say hi to people? And I think we can invite more people on. Oh, well, so we've done 3 conferences. We have some more conferences coming up that's really exciting. We love the group. I'll be honest with you. There are days where I hate Airtable, but I love the Airtable group. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, I feel like the Airtable group is really like a unique ecosystem. A lot of the other Airtable communities, there's a lot, I don't know if that's the right term, but a lot more negativity around certain updates that are made. But a lot of people in Airtable show their love, or the Airtable community show their love for Airtable, which I appreciate.
And we have just such a good ecosystem of people who are partners. Like Enterprise is always doing nice stuff. Dominic from Fill Out is always doing nice stuff. I don't feel like there's any heavy selling. Every now and then someone will say, hey, I want to hire someone, and it's like blood in the water. But for the most part, it's like sharks. It's really crazy. But for the most part, people are super just I love seeing people support each other. Like I have a question and someone just answers it. And we just have amazing folks. I know they're in many other groups, but Kuvan's very active in the group. Sorry, I don't want to start naming people because then I'll get in trouble for the people I forget. But yeah, we're very fortunate. But that said, it is hard work running this group.
Yeah.
Some of you folks, you'll get blood in the water. You know what I'm saying, Kim? There's like someone asked for help and like it's blood in the water. It's just sharks come out. Yeah, I can help you. First off, let me give pro tip for this group. If you ever say you need help and you're willing to pay, you're asking for trouble. I'm telling you that now. If you really need help, message Ben. He will get you in touch with someone. He might not be able to do it because big companies hire Ben nowadays, but he will get you in trouble. He'll get you in someone to do it. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, this group was how I got my first few clients, actually, was just going in the group, answering people's questions. And then I ended up making YouTube videos about some of those same questions. So it's a great place for people to show off their expertise. But yeah, sometimes there are definitely lots of sharks for sure.
Yeah. But other than that, we got really good people. So it's nice. But that being said, with negativity, we wanted to have this town hall today because there's so many changes lately. So I don't know, Ben. I know I have a little agenda of things I wanted to chat about. Airtable, ChatGPT is the active shark. Plenty of familiar answers. Yes, we know that. I actually watched a video on Airtable the other day. They were talking about I think they have a total account API. Maybe you can let me know. But for some reason it was offered to me. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm going to watch this. So Ben, I guess we'll start with you. We've got the pricing changes that recently happened. We have layoffs. And then of course, there's just a ton of Airtable news since we last spoke. They have a whole new education portal now, all sorts of stuff like that. Or you want to just start off and maybe get your general feeling? We have another question about how you think it might affect your income.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, we may have talked about how it could affect consultants' income. Maybe the pricing changes first, because that was a little while ago, but I feel like it ties into the same vision that Howie put out.
You know who's got the hardest
article?
Yep.
I think the pricing changes make sense. It should help them get like cash flow positive. And I'm actually very happy about, like, they gave us a lot of good things in the pricing changes. So my opinion is I'm a big fan of them. It does make it a little bit more expensive, but if you compare like the value that the businesses, like just knowing the businesses I work with, the value that they get out of Airtable versus the cost is so small compared to the value that they can put like 15 Google Sheets into one database system. So I think the value is still there, and the pricing changes don't impact that much.
Given the API pricing. Yeah, again, if you're watching this, I know some people watch live, some people won't. And if you want to speak, I think you can comment and Ben might be able to bring you in.
Yeah.
First, I told Ben I have to do a mea culpa. I did not know when I would post about the new pricing. I was privy enough to find out about the pricing. They kind of did I don't know, community, or I want to say influencer group, but I don't think I'm an influencer. But they let us know a little bit ahead of time, and I was super excited. I was like, oh, this is good. And then I posted it, and then people started getting upset. And I just want to be honest, folks. I'm telling you from my heart, I only saw the jump forward to business. I did not realize what was happening to team to pro. So people who were free before got a nice upgrade. I can't remember. Some people actually did. Oh, there was a middle tier they dropped. They did really well because they all doubled. But the people who took the biggest hit in that pricing change were the pro users.
Yeah.
So they got cut back. Automations, I think, was a big one that got cut back. I know the APIs was another one. So I just want to say I'm sorry to those folks. I'm sorry that I was kind of pro that change. I only saw 45 hours a month for 100 gigabytes. Sign me up. But that being said, I have said for some time, and I've maintained with Ben, I love Airtable, but at the end of the day, we are not their customers. You can go to Ben's channel on YouTube, Optimize IS. You can just Google Ben Green at Airtable. You'll see a lot of our videos from the off record. I've been saying this for years, and I don't mean anything negative about us as people or Airtable as a company, but we're not their customers. Salesforce, the Microsoft, those are their customers. We have never been their customers. The challenge is, and always have been, they started out like a prosumer tool, meaning like glorified small business, and they're trying to scale. And, so I still think there's a tremendous value in the tool. I still think they could do more with enterprise. I think they could make it, contact sales, but after reading the article about what they're looking for, they'll never happen. My prediction, because I did predict Some of the things that have happened now have now actually happened. Just not the way we thought they would. My prediction is within 2 years, the current free team and business don't even exist. And there's just a small business and enterprise, and that's it. There's no team, there's no free, it's all gone.
I think if Airtable did that, it would be detrimental there.
I said a few years. I didn't say right away. I said a few years.
But yeah, they'd have to make some big changes, which Howie did say they're going to make some big changes to be a better tool for, what was it, like enterprise level problems, pretty much. But so I'm not too concerned about the pricing changes because my customers are not incredibly affected. The people that are really affected are I would say like hobbyists or people using Airtable for free, people who aren't getting as much of a return on investment, like where they can justify the money portion of it. It does impact them more, but I don't see those users much.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with, some of the comments that really struck me, the ones that said something like they've abandoned their users. And again, I understand how people can have that feeling, but if I'm being honest, we were never their users. Yeah. I have to keep saying it that way. I understand that people think that, yes, you use Airtable and yes, you've been paying for a pro user, but at the end of the day, we were never their target audience. There's another guy, Mike Marino, I think his name is. He talked about how they used to host their website used to have birthdays. I did a whole web post in the group about all their old web pages. But I think if we're being honest, like we're being honest with each other, like we're an honest group, we just have to get used to that idea. And I think what Howie said in his latest article was just proof positive that it's only going to get worse, that we're not their customers. And what that looks like, I still don't know, to be honest with you. I can't even wrap my head around. I was so blown away by the, $1 million. I was like, okay, your current customers aren't even your enterprise current customers aren't even your customers. I can't imagine what you think is going to happen.
Yeah. Because they used to, in order to get enterprise, the minimum was like $7,300 pretty much. And that was if you wanted to have enterprise, that was the minimum. So all those people that they did consider enterprise, they may still be on enterprise, but they're not actually Airtable's target customer.
Go ahead. We've got a lot of comments. I'm trying to keep up with them.
There's one specific thing. I just wanted to address the API limits because that was a big thing for the pro plan, was they introduced API limits. I've had a lot of questions from my clients around API limits, and I'm not too worried about those limits because for a long time they had a record limit of 50,000 records. And Chris, you had that limit on your bases.
I hit all the limits, the space limit, the record limit. But again, I was kind of given a pass.
Yeah. So I have a quote I can read from an Airtable employee. It says, we do have those new API call limits on the free and team plans, and they will include calls that external services make with OAuth. However, we will not hard enforce this immediately. It's possible that we throttle or reduce the rate limit for those who are significantly over that limit in the future, though. The intention is not to break workflows, but there are a handful of customers who are significantly over using our API, example as a backend for a large-scale app, and we do want to have controls in place to prevent that on our lower tiers. On our business, which is available in self-serve and enterprise scale plans, there are no API limits on calls. So I feel like it's similar to record limits, where for a long time you could go over the record limits and they would just show a warning, but they're really targeting businesses who, I imagine, if the limit's 100,000 on team now, they're targeting businesses making like millions of API calls per month, not like the people who are most users.
I think the API, again, I don't want to sound dark, but I think a lot of the API changes that have happened so far and are coming, let's just be honest, are a direct assault against the ecosystem around it. So the Airprises, the softers, the Pories. Again, they know that those companies are full-fledged companies with, I think software probably has 50 or 100 people. So like they're making money. Let's just be honest, they're making money. That's money that could be going in Airtable's pocket. But instead of addressing the problem, which is the poor leadership at Airtable, the lack of vision at Airtable, they're going to then take it out on, well, then how do we get this ecosystem around us and get this money flowing up to us? I said it online, I'll say it again. At this point, you need to cut the horn off the unicorn. Howie needs to go. You can't go through two giant reductions in forces, one last year and one this year, and good people have been let go, and not say, well, maybe we can stop, reducing people who are supporting our enterprise and our regular customers, and maybe just change the leadership.
Yeah.
But that's just no one really wants to talk about what that looks like in the future. So there's more comments coming. I can't keep up with them. I don't know if you can.
There's a ton of comments.
Yeah, I don't even know how you see them. I saw. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. At least our current members maintain their current limits. New customers can have new. That was Shelley Powell. SharePoint exists. Microsoft rules enterprise. What's one of them? One of the API limits. I know we're not their customers, but I feel, oh, this is a good one. I know we're not their customers, but I feel used. It's like a bait and switch. Yeah, I get it. And I think that's the biggest challenge with Airtable is it is such a friendly tool that I think a lot of people, you take the Jen Ruds or the Kuvans, people who have consulting practices, and again, I don't know how big their consulting practices are, and it's pretty easy for them to scale. But to me, the writing was on the wall when two things happened. There are two ecosystems when it comes to partners. This is just me. I don't talk to Ben about this. This is my thinking, so sorry if you're one of these people. There's what I call the mom and pop ecosystem, the Jen Ruds, right? The people who have other Airtable Consulting. I can't think of their name right now, but there's another group. Cherry up in the Northeast who came to the conference.
Yep.
So the mom and pop, less than 10 employees getting paid by consulting. The Gareth Pronovost, the maybe even the Dan, and they're great. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Airtable could have survived this long without them. I mean, this literally, Dan had a community before anyone. He had podcasting before anyone. He had the whole thing, and he was doing consulting. And Dan has a whole tool ecosystem, which he doesn't. I think he just got rid of some of it. Now you got this other ecosystem, which is all these new companies, and then Airtable's just signing them up like bread and butter, like, yourcloudservices.com and, Ninja Warriors.now. And like, who the hell are these people, right? They're just signing up anybody with an incredible landing page who's basically, every SaaS provider in the world is their specialty. Not. You do not, what you're doing is you're basically the front end and you're just hiring low-level people from God knows where to come in and do some work. And because they're doing this, and I think it's a lot of wink and a handshake, because these people aren't going to any type of Airtable actual training, right? Find me one consultant that can produce an Airtable certified certificate. Where are I'm hiring someone to do a $30,000 job for me at Airtable. Show me they know what they're doing. Not their other customers. Show me a piece of damn paper that says you know what you're doing. Literally, Highlights for Children has more credibility at this point, right? But they don't. It doesn't exist. And I think if we're being realistic with ourselves, they've got to stop with the partner ecosystem, invest in the actual people who, the Bens and the Jens and the Cherries and the Gareths and the, all of them, right? And just say, how do we get these people up to speed and then let you guys train the new people?
Yeah. One thing they've always, really similar to like the services partner, is they've never really invested into people like Kuvan, Camille, Dan with his apps. Like Dan had a few apps that I know of, like I think it was called Amplify.
Yep.
And he built this thing that was basically Airtable interfaces, but
it was interfaces before there was interfaces.
Yeah, and then they completely replaced it.
Yeah.
He had something called Actions, which I think was a Zapier edition, and then they added automations, and they added integrations with Zapier. But they've never really invested in truly like the extensions in Airtable, you can build custom extensions, but they're not what they consider like first-class citizens. You can't make an extension of Vue, or you can't bring it into the interface.
Yeah.
That is another area where I feel like they're very lacking.
Well, you got your buckets of problems. You've got your how do they scale? So like they have to break even, right? Well, how do you break even? Well, you fire everyone till there's no one left to keep the lights on. Welcome Elon Musk to the Airtable headquarters, right? Or you've got another way to do it where you just sell, sell, sell. That's never been effective at Airtable. Why aren't they selling enterprise products? Is it bad salespeople? I personally think there's some of that. I think there's a lot of that because I've met a lot of their salespeople who reach out to me. Hey, seems like you know a lot of executives on Facebook. Yeah, I'm 55 goddamn years old. I've been around the block a few times, right? Yeah, but I'm not getting you in there because you're not ready for prime time. And then you've got, okay, maybe now let's just say you've got some seasoned salespeople. Then do you have a product ready for it? No, as some of the people were saying in the unicorn startup posts that went online. Sorry, Ben, I didn't know you posted too. I wouldn't have double backed you. You get to 250,000 records, the thing just falls apart, right? So I get it. The sales bucket is falling apart from sales and product both. The partner bucket's falling apart because I feel like they're just throwing mud at the wall right now. Then you take the last place they could extract cash, the people who got them here, and you wring them dry.
Yeah.
I'd like to read to you a post from an Airtable employee. Can I do this?
Yeah. And can I just add one thing about the pricing? The one thing that really aggravates me with the pricing changes is like last time they did changes, they grandfathered people in, but I pay for Pro yearly. So I've paid a year out into the future thinking I'm going to get the Pro features, and then they take them away. That is like really the big thing that irks me.
I wonder, truly, what's going to happen with that? Because those people who were grandfathered, because do you remember you and me were buying up Pro accounts like they were going out of style? I'm not going to lie. The minute they said we will grandfather everybody in who's in the Pro until next month, I bought like 5 Pro plans just because it was such a good deal to not lose all those other things. Like, does that mean all that just goes away? I mean, you sound like you know for sure, but like if you were grandfathered in, does this grandfather still exist?
They never mentioned anywhere that anybody would be grandfathered into what they paid for, which I think is terrible.
Yeah. So we'll see. The other thing, I still have Pro plan, and apparently this was supposed to happen on the 13th. So I don't know if all the changes went into effect. All my bases still look the same.
It was supposed to go in 2 days ago?
Yeah. Was the date. They were supposed to all switch over. All my stuff still doesn't say team yet.
I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because I went through with Christine Domingo, and by the way, pro tip, if you're still watching, screenshot all your bases and any credit you have, because I can guarantee, wink and a smile, that stuff will disappear. Well, seriously, at this point, what is going to go away? What's next? We lose all of our credits? Listen, I'm not in some country spamming people like some of these folks, but this quote I got was really interesting. I've had a lot of Airtable, and for your employees, don't worry, I always maintain your anonymity. I try to be real quiet. This is from an employee who was with Airtable 6 years. I try to be real quiet about my criticism of Airtable because I don't need the division like the regular community has. That said, that was me responding to her. I was like, oh, she's kind of right. But that was me reading my own words. Like, God, I'm good. It says, this one says, this is it. Hey, Chris, I work at Airtable. I was just laid off today. Just between us, 100% agree about Howie. He is not CEO material. He's not strategic, not decisive, not charismatic, not well-spoken. I cannot figure out why he's still there. Let me know if you know. Thanks for all you do for the community. There are people who love you inside, love the builders or something like that. So, again, I think it's the people thing that pushed me over the edge this time. It's the people who were affected. There are good people who work at Airtable, and I feel like they're really suffering right now.
Yeah. And living in fear.
Yeah.
Because now, they had one big layoff. Now there's this layoff. When's the third going to be?
Well, if you're still at Airtable, let me give you a pro tip. And this is pro tip number 4 if you're keeping track at home. Go to your boss now and volunteer for the severance. Like, if this roller coaster is making you upset, you literally can do that. Don't be thankful you weren't part of it. Be thankful you were early. Because as having been through a few reduction in forces, literally, it's a smart thing to do. Another Airtable employee said to me on a privately, I'm willing to go offer myself just because apparently they're getting 6 months severance, and everyone's like, oh, that's a lot. But some people are very upset about the severance package because, well, they don't think these other people deserve 6 months because they haven't done much or they just got there or whatever it is. At the end of the day, severance is not about the money you're getting. It's about the fact you have to sign something, say you will never talk about them. You will never start a business that competes with them. That's what severance is. It's a legal thing. It's nothing to do with, don't think you're getting anything special.
I thought their severance package looked pretty attractive. 6 months.
Well, yeah, if you're making, most of the Airtable people I know are making, so there's like 3 waves, so there's bigger than that. There's like the people who were originally there, but people who got hired between like 18 and 20 are like they're making coin. I mean, we're talking like $200,000-$300,000, like just regular people. This is not San Francisco people. These are just remote people. So all the Austin folks, they were making coin. The people who've been hired after that, so I won't mention any names, but we all have a favorite YouTuber streamer who used to be real active in the group and left Airtable. He came in, barely 6 figures. And when he went and said, hey, why are all these other people making so much money and I'm not? They were like, well, you came in after that. So, and the other thing that a lot of people don't consider is, when there's reduction in force, your RSUs are affected, or could be. So
For those who don't know what RSUs are, what are RSUs?
Restricted stock units. So it's a way of getting stock in a company, even though a company's not public. So if it goes public, you will make some money. That's how everyone becomes millionaires and unicorn. What makes a unicorn startup a unicorn startup is you basically have a small fractional ownership, not like one of the founders. And then when you go public, those vest, and then that vestiture really, and the rate at which you vest and when you vest. So you'll get so many for the first year, some of the second year, then some of the third year, and hopefully by the time they go public, they're all fully vested, and then you get all your money at once. So it means it could be the difference between making $100,000 and making several $1 million. And $100,000 for a lot of people is a lot of money. So
yeah,
it counts. But yeah, it's really hard. It's been hard watching the community. I don't know. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I think, on this is just the number of people who said, I'm leaving Airtable. I saw a lot of posts in that group about like, well, now I need to leave Airtable. Where do we abandon? Do you have any feelings on that?
That was surprising how many people said that.
I was shocked. And then they're like comparing notes. I'm going here, I'm going there. I was like, okay. I'm not going anywhere. First, let me just say this about that. If you think about leaving Airtable, don't. If you can, hang on. I know you feel a little bit roller coastery right now. I think there is going to be a time where it'll smooth out. I mean, obviously, if you read the Forbes article like I did, and what was interesting was the Forbes article dropped. They worked with Forbes on this. You can tell their press people are savvy because they had the announcement internally, and an hour later, the Forbes article dropped. Once they become cash flow positive, that'll be a different thing. Once they get different leadership, it'll be a different thing. No actual seasoned leader is going to come into this company, see the community that's here on Facebook, the conferences, the people, all of it, and say, we're just leaving those people by the wayside. Yes, I know they're not the Walmarts and the Macy's and the Coca-Colas of the world, but those are people who are passionate advocates. Nobody is going to leave that on there. That's a Howie exclusive that's happening right there. So it's scheduled that way with Forbes usually. Yeah, okay, so we have someone who I guess either an insider or knows what's going on.
Chris, so I just sent in the chat of the Facebook Live a link that is a message from Howie about the layoffs that was posted on Airtable. There was one quote in that I thought was very ironic. And I think shout out Hannah from the Built on Air community for pointing me towards that link. But they said in that post, you can click on the link. It's in the
I'm there, yeah. It says, hi, everyone. Over the past few years, Airtable's transitioned to an enterprise-focused company. Oh, give us your quote before I read this.
So the quote that I found most interesting was he says, we'll now have the ability to invest and hire.
Ha!
And
Let me explain what that means. I'll do the translation for you. So we now have the ability to invest and hire, which means we have gotten rid of everyone we were paying too much money to. We no longer have to pay them their stock. So we actually now have money to invest and hire. Howie, let me help you, my friend. We could have just gotten rid of you and done the same thing and kept everyone. So no, this is a great post. Hi everyone. This is earlier today. Howie sent out this email to the Airtable employees. Hi everyone. Over the past few years, it's nice they're being this transparent. Well, I guess they have to be, really. They probably read the Facebook group. Airtable's transition into an enterprise-focused company has helped the world's leading organizations transform how they operate. To plan for a long term and set ourselves on a durable growth path that best serves our customers, we made the difficult decision to reduce our staff. The decision was made after as a result of last year to work better understand the needs of our enterprise customers. I also hold myself responsible for Airtable's long-term success. Good, quit. As a cash flow positive business, with large cash reserves, we have the ability to hire and invest. Yes. But they got cash flow positive by 2 layoffs and doubling the pricing and cutting down the services.
yeah, offering no more support to team.
Yeah, my grocery store is doing this. It's just doubling the price of bread and not hiring and hiring worse cashiers. It doesn't really fix anything. Sorry, I don't mean to be so rude, Ben, but it's just the truth. Continued benefits. Okay, you'll receive a cash equivalent. Oh yeah, so they're saying here 6 months. Wow, this is public?
Yep.
Oh, okay,
Airtable.
accelerated vesting. You'll receive 2 months of accelerated. Okay, that's nice. For those staying on, I acknowledge this difficult decision. Hands-on. Okay, so they're hands-on today. Please check your calendars. I want to recently thank everyone for your hard work and dedication. Okay. I still think you need to go, Howie. It's a lovely letter, but you need to go. ServiceNow. So for those of you who don't know, ServiceNow is a $1 billion SaaS software company. I think of like the grandfather of SaaS software is Salesforce. The grandfather's son of SaaS software is ServiceNow. And their millennial child that does not want to work is Airtable. And if you take that kind of spectrum, the same thing happened at all of them. At some point, Benioff had to go. At some point, Fred Luddy had to go. And unfortunately, Howie doesn't seem to need to understand that he needs to go. It's a lovely company, but you've managed it into the ground. You've been through 2 massive layoffs, and you really don't have a lot of product to show for it. Your salespeople are inept most of the time. They can't, again, I mean, just getting into an enterprise company doesn't mean you succeeded. What's happened to those products once it's in there? Is it being adopted? Are you selling more licenses? Are your customer success people actually being able to show that you're thriving on Airtable? I mean, there are metrics. I mean, you're a SaaS company, for gosh sakes. You could show, but I just don't know. It's very frustrating for me, if I'm being honest, to see all this happening.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, I love Airtable as the product, and then on the other hand, I never hear fantastic things about the culture within Airtable. Like we don't hear good things about the culture. Multiple, like their C-suite turnover. Do you remember the product guy that they had?
From Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He left, I think at that same time they had another C-suite departure.
But I always wonder about those things because, again, I've done a lot of work in Silicon Valley over the years. It's like these people are just floating from job to job to job. They come in with a lot of promises. I think the one guy built Messenger at Facebook.
Yeah.
He's like, I built Messenger at Facebook. Okay, you're there for a year and a half. I know you made some coin in that year and a half and you got your stock. But, like, did you do anything? Yeah, you brought over all your friends from Facebook who also weren't happy with Facebook and the Airtable. Then you all leave. It's like a swarm of locusts. Just going around downtown San Francisco from building to building, just messing up stuff. They call them chaos monkeys, by the way. There's a real book about chaos monkeys. You cannot ignore culture problems in the year of our Lord 2023. Amen to that. So it's hard. I think everyone's gone through a lot of transitions. I almost felt like posting in the Facebook group, if you've lost to me, you've got problems. Because I'm faithful to a fault, ask Ben. But that being said, I don't feel comfortable partnering with Airtable in any meaningful way moving forward. I won't be asking them to come to the conference next year. Right now, for all intent and purposes, they have harmed the community in a lot of different ways. Losing, and I'm going to be honest, I was no fan of this person in the beginning. Who used to run community? I can't remember her name.
Jordan.
Jordan. I love Jordan. I dedicated my session to Jordan at the conference. When I first met Jordan, I was like, oh gosh, she seems like really overwhelmed. But I soon learned that wasn't Jordan. That was Airtable. She was choking in it. She was not empowered. She couldn't do anything. Christy's another one. I don't know if Christy made it through these rifts. I love Christy. Christy Roach, yeah. But at some point, I just think someone in the community or at Airtable or just in public, maybe, I don't know, a journalist needs to hold someone responsible at Airtable, right? There was no responsibility in that Forbes article. I have no idea. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. And Andrew from Airtable is another amazing person. But again, I never hear from him. I don't know how he's doing.
Who's Andrew? Is he on the
He's
marketing?
one of the founders. There are 3 founders. Andrew, I can't remember the other guy's name. I never remember it.
Yeah, last year they replaced their community forum software, which was detrimental. So now their new software, Chorus, which is their new community, everybody who I know was an expert and was posting in there, they no longer post in there because the search in it sucks and it's just a very unusable platform. Now they've done this, so yeah, I'm not sure. As far as they really lost the community, like you said. There's not many things keeping people around other than.
Well, they were doing. I think they lost that community some time ago, only because you've got some very vocal old timers. I don't remember all their names. I just know that someone's like, do you know this person? I'm like, no, because I don't. I first went to that Airtable community, the official one in 2018, and I've said this before. I felt unwelcomed. If you're not Ben, you're really smart when it comes to complex formulas and stuff, but if you're not one of you people, you just don't fit in, and that's not where my skill level lies. I'm not going to create some amazing join statement, or I'm not a Kuvan. I'm not going to script up something amazing. I'll pay someone to do that, but you know what I can do? I can actually make something work. You have people at the front desk who need to get information to people in the back. I do really good at that. But it was hard. So I never really got into the community. I thought it was pretty toxic. When they had the software change, I know a lot of people had trouble with that. They have a great person in community. I don't know if he was there. He was a contractor, young guy. And hey guys, go. People coming home. I don't know if he's still around. I don't even know what's going on with that. I told them I'd post some videos for them, weekly heart-centered app video or monthly. I just stopped. There's not a lot of engagement, and when there is, it's just people complaining. It's hard. I focus on our group. Again, why are the eco people? Why are the Airappraises and Softers and Pories and I can't even think of them all now, dance tools? Why aren't they all getting together as a group and just going to Airtable and saying, let's see how good things go if we pull support? There were a lot of businesses that would not run if it weren't for the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure that any of those people, because that's directly tied to their revenue. If they pull support, then it hurts Airtable, yeah, but it also hurts those businesses.
Yeah, but I think there's a way you could make I think you could intimate that you would without ever having to do it. I think if Airtable knew that enough of them were serious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a reason all these, Stacker built their own backend. I'm sure Softer will build their own backend at some point. There's a reason they're all kind of, running for the hills. It's not secure. The good news is I think if you're an adequate consultant, you're going to be fine. I think if you're someone with exceptional consulting skills, you're going to do really good. If you're in the Airtable ecosystem as a consultant or a professional in any way, now's the time. They've got a lot of going on. There's a lot of stress and stuff. Now you can make a lot of money right now. I think if you're an Airtable customer, I think you're safe for the most part. And I say that from the heart. I think you're safe for the most. I still have customers I put on Airtable all the time. Long term, I don't know. I'm going to go back to the quote. The quote was, We want to consistently get customers with $1 million plus spend rates versus supporting a lot of little $10,000 customers at his sales touch point. Again, my customers
there's two key words there, which is support and sales. Self-service and not providing support. I think long-term, they'll be able to keep those lower level self-service plans and they just won't offer support. And that's where consultants will come in. So
I would like that, but I can't think of another business that has that model. I 100% agree with you, but I always go, was there anyone actually making that work in the world?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Someone mentioned one group online. They said, well, they're kind of doing it. They have enterprise and prosumer. But I'm telling you, you know, consumer, prosumer, SMB, enterprise. It is so hard to make those jumps in either direction, right? Going from enterprise to prosumer, like there's never been a Salesforce Lite, right? You know, even Quicken has, you know, QuickBooks versus Quicken. They couldn't even make it work. They just split them into multiple companies, right? It's too much, you know, the messaging and then I'm going to keep coming back. Education. I will say this till the day I die, until Airtable has an actual education where I can go and take classes either online or in person. That's why I developed one for my customers. It's not going to happen. Okay, we got here. Enterprise. One team plan, unlimited APIs as a backend, front-end platform, figure out the database schema for Airtable, then move to Xano. Yeah, everyone keeps saying Xano was actually at the Airtable conference. Their CEO was a great guy, by the way.
They were a Trojan horse.
Huh?
They
were a Trojan horse. Wouldn't that be funny if they, no, they probably weren't a Trojan horse. I don't know, Ben Green.
Yeah.
I'm reading, seeing if we have any questions. Live in here? Oh yeah, concerned about the changes. Thanks for the tag. I'm not sure. Patiently waiting for the live to pop up. Okay, so some people saw it. Link. Sorry guys, I guess you could put the link in here. I guess I could have done that. We'll have to tell people we're also bad at Facebook.
Did you see Jody Peterson's comment?
No. Was it in here in the chat, in the live, or on the
most recent comment? So she's a consultant's perspective. If you keep building customer solutions on Airtable and they end up going belly up because they made these poor business decisions, how do you anticipate handling that? You owe it to potential customers to give them a warning, a potential warning. Do you move them to a new system for free down the road, or do you charge for that too?
I mean, as someone who has been dabbling in consulting lately for Airtable, I've been really upfront with my customers. So when I do my contracts, I tell them, you know, we're building something on a tool that's not mine, that's hosted, you know, somewhere else, and we're going to use as much as possible. Because again, I don't build solutions that have, you know, 5 different plugins. I try to keep as much as possible in Airtable for as long as possible. You know, that being said, I don't think you owe your customers, if you're doing a consulting gig, anything more than the gig. Now, for some of my customers, I bundle support in, so they have support for a year, right? It's just built into the price. I'll just help them out for like that. You know, at that case, I think if it was something where I thought they were going to have problems, I would do it. But I'll just be blunt. Airtable's not going belly up. I mean, that's just not going to happen. They're too big of a company, and they've got too many customers who are successful.
They're cash flow positive, and they have a ton of money in the bank.
Yeah.
If you look at how much funding they have, like versus, I mean, this isn't a great example because they also have funding, but if you look at like them versus Softer, like Airtable is $1 billion company. I trust that they'll be around. All these like new tools that come out that are like Airtable ripoffs, like sure, you could go move into that one, but is it going to be here next week? Like you just had a bunch of issues with fill out.
Yeah, so
relatively new.
Yeah, Airtable's raised almost $1 billion up until 2022, according to the internet right now. And it says Airtable's revenue rate is 142 million at that point. Yeah, again, like to your point, I'd be more worried about Softer going under.
Yeah.
Than I would Airtable. You know, fill out again. I hope they don't go under, but again, I think I was talking to you earlier, Ben. I think disaster recovery is something we don't talk about enough in the Airtable community. If you're really an enterprise person, DR, disaster recovery, is part of every install. I know for me, when I do Airtable installs, not only do I do ERDs or enterprise relationship diagrams, and do I document everything, but I also do disaster recovery plans, which means if the system goes down, because Airtable goes down every now and then, how do you keep doing business, right?
Yeah.
So like, do you have a manual? Where's the paper form you fill out when someone calls the phone? How do you do that?
And that's actually a great plug for Dan's business, for Dan from the Built on Air Slack community. He used to have a bunch of different apps. They consolidated it down to one that was the most profitable, which is just onto Air backups. So if you're concerned Airtable is going to shut down their systems, get onto Air backups and it'll give you peace of mind, because it syncs all your CSVs to Google Drive.
Yeah.
And that is great. Like if you want to migrate someone off and Airtable's down, you have those CSVs.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, yeah, I tried it when it first came out and I couldn't get it to work, and I didn't want to bother Dan. So I need to go back to Dan to do that. But again, I said this on the old Airtable too, is like the old podcast is like, one of the things I love about Airtable is I can just drop it all to CSV myself. I mean, I'm just not worried about it. I'm not overly invested in Airtable as a platform. To that end, I think all these Airtable clones, they're literally coming out of the woodwork. I don't know. I know like development is cheap in Eastern Europe right now because half of it's being blown to hell. But like at some point, you have to just say, do we need another Airtable clone? I would not move to an Airtable clone. If you're on Airtable now and you think, well, I need to just get off Airtable. No, if you want to use it and do something small, and just play with it, that's fine. Broadening your skills is really good, but I think you're much better off right now learning another tool, like learning a Bubble, or maybe using JotForms has a nice back end. JotForms not going to go anywhere. They've got a table back end now, so who knows? There was a comment about software. You have to have software because it makes Airtable usable. Absolutely true. I'm a big Pori fan. I use Pori for the same reason. It makes at least Airtable accessible. I just worry about, unless software scales in a way where they're not dependent on Airtable. And I think, are they doing Google Forms now? I can't remember.
I think they do. They support Google Sheets. So
they do. Okay, so there. I mean, if they support Google Sheets, then they've at least got some redundancy for the future.
Yeah.
I think someone from Airtable reached out to me and asked me to remove a post off of our group.
Really?
Yep. I've never been censored by Big Brother until recently. JotForm's $9.95. By the way, if you're making JotForm work, tell me how. I tried JotForm forever. It can never get the single select dropdowns right. No, but someone posted it on the group, and I did remove it, Ben. Sorry, I didn't tell you. Someone said, if you're trying to save money in Airtable, do everything in Google Sheets and point Airtable to it as a view and have all your edits done by your users in Google Sheets, and that way it's just in Airtable.
I mean,
did you see that post?
That's a comment. I didn't see the post, but it's a common request. It's like one of my most popular YouTube videos is how to sync Airtable in a Google Sheet. Like, people want to use Google Sheets with Airtable. I don't know why they asked you to remove it.
Someone got JotForm to work. That lady, I can't. Sorry, your names go way quick. Don't get mad at me if I forget your names.
So Dave asked, why doesn't Airtable build features into Airtable that other companies are offering to make Airtable a complete solution, i.e. document?
Why isn't Dave in here? Can you invite him into chat?
Dave, do you want to join? Just send some in the chat if you want to join the live.
Dave's very vocal. I'm surprised. I don't know. I tried to get Airtable to buy Pori at one point. I said, just listen, they're small. It's a great tool. The problem with any of these tools, the softwares and Poris and things, is it cannibalizes their licensing revenue right now.
So I can tell you exactly why they don't make document, and that is because the Fortune 500 companies have not asked for it. Once those companies want to use software and they can get software approved for their security risks, then Airtable may consider it. But until the enterprise user, which is Airtable's customer, until they ask for features, they're not going to come.
Yeah.
Because small businesses are using Airtable as a CRM. They're using it as a user portal with something like Software or Pori. Enterprises are not.
Yeah. Did Dave want to join?
He never messaged anything. So.
I like how they always put the sacrificial lambs out here. Just you guys go and say all the things we want to say out loud but won't. But long story short, I really believe that don't freak out. Airtable, sorry, Chris, I didn't see that one. It goes away. So how do you watch the comments so fast?
I have it on the computer right next to it. I'm not sure if there's a good way.
Sorry, Chris, I'm really kids talking in class. Oh, it's okay, Kim. It's okay. My husband's a school teacher. I'm trying to find time to do that.
Here, I just sent you a text. You can try opening that link on the computer and you can see all the comments.
You're so good at me. I thought that Ben knows I'm old. Okay.
I don't know if it'll.
Well, it will, but I was logged in as my fan page, so I could remember all those test videos we did.
Yeah.
I thought we had people.
We had to practice like 6 times to go live on this.
And then we finally figured out we couldn't do it unless we were using the
Have you ever used Obsidian? I use this tool. Someone mentioned Obsidian, which is why I bring it up. I think it's similar to Roam Research, which is what I use.
It is.
But
There are Obsidian is to the thought mapping workspace what Notion is to teenagers who want a better world. It's cute. I get it. Sorry, I'm just an
I can't wait. I just remembered how you always describe Notion.
Do you remember how I said it?
Yeah.
What do I say?
Makes you look like you're busy or something like that.
The thing I like to say about Notion is to productivity what Instagram is to authenticity. You know, you look amazingly busy, but you ain't getting shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like Obsidian, and I understand why it's really attractive to some people. Another one that I've been tried to sell on is Coda. A lot of people are talking about Coda. Coda has a database now. You know, Notion has a database now, but just falls apart really fast. I don't know. There's a lot that.
Like if I wanted to do a different, like move my data somewhere else, I can't think of a good place that would have database-like features and would be user-friendly.
Okay, I can tell you, Microsoft Access.
No, no, user-friendly.
Well, I don't know. I grew up on Access in the 90s, so it's still user-friendly to me.
I also learned Access in college. Hated it, but it did make Airtable make sense.
Someone wrote Notion rules Enterprise. Coda is difficult. I thought Coda was difficult too. How do you say your name? Can you type phonetically spell for my autistic ass? Shaylee Powell. Hannah. Oh, that's funny. Okay, I'll check out what Dave Sparks has to say about this. About what? I found a plugin for Obsidian that will import CSVs pretty seamlessly. It's called Data Loom. Okay. I love that people are just chatting. Ben, I tried to open your link. It wouldn't work for me. So I can only see the comments on here. That's fine. I think because you're the admin. You're very important. Oh, Shayla. Hopefully I did that right. Thank you, Shayla. Shayla. Layla. I'm, as someone says, Obsidian. No code. Everyone says no code DB. I'll tell you why. Oh, it's Guy Bots. Of course, that's why I'm avoiding it. Sorry, Guy. I wasn't picking up. Whatever Guy says something. Okay. No code DB. Okay, yeah. Open all. Oh, that's okay. That's the open all. Okay. I know why I'm avoiding it. It's not Guy. It's because it's open source. And it's not that I'm anti-open source. It just scares me. People worry about Airtable going into business. Some worry about no code or open source stuff. So 36,000 GetStar hubs, 40. Okay, I mean, it looks cute. It looks cute. I don't know. The reality is, if it worked as good as Airtable, people would be using it. Maybe no code DB is working.
Yeah. Okay. So then a good example is Smart Suite. People always love to talk about Smart Suite. Mm-hmm. I don't have anybody coming to me saying, I love using Smart Suite. I have 10 people every day coming to me and tell me, I love Airtable. Can we make it work?
Yeah. Thank you, Enterprise.
Smart Suite. I don't understand the hype about. I do understand the hype.
I cannot comment on Smart Suite. Smart Suite to me is like softer. It's yeah. You know, if you have nothing nice to say something at all.
So with Smart Suite, the reason why it gets so much buzz is because unlike Airtable, they have like a revenue sharing model, but also unlike Airtable, that's their entire marketing strategy is this revenue sharing model. So with Airtable, they treat like or they treat the revenue sharing model like crap. They don't do any revenue sharing.
No, your
but
$10 link. That's the revenue sharing.
But people they do marketing, so they bring in customers for you. People want to use Airtable all day. I don't see customers going to Smart Suite and being like, yeah, I love Smart Suite. I don't see it unless somebody sold them under their affiliate link.
I don't know. To me, when I started seeing Smart Suite videos getting created by Gareth, and there's another guy, I can't think of his name right now. He doesn't wear a hat in those videos. Well, Gareth's always wearing a hat. I mean, someone needs to tell Gareth, Gareth, we love you, buddy, but the hat needs to go. Smart Suite. Do you know what I'm talking about? How he's always got a hat on?
Yeah, he does recently.
Okay, Dan Lehman. Do you know Dan Lehman?
I've heard of that name.
You can look him up. He's a Airtable YouTuber. So if Gareth Pronovost and Dan from OpenSide were to have a baby, it'd be Dan Lehman. Why? Am I going to get in trouble for this? Okay. No, he's super nice. He reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, hey, let's connect. And I wrote back and said, I don't connect to random people. This is in the 70s. We're not at a free-for-all. It's the truth. He doesn't wear a hat in his videos. He does wear a hat.
They're laughing at your comment.
Oh, okay. It's a little delayed. Yeah. So no, but the minute I saw Gareth and Dan Lehman and all these people, there's even a girl, not a girl, but a lady who's making Smart Suite videos. They're all of a sudden like Smart Suite, like all these Smart Suite videos. And it looked really amazing, but I was just like, why are all these people suddenly making Smart Suite? You know what I mean? You gotta wonder, like, okay, what happened? Like,
it's the same thing as if somebody went into the Airtable Facebook group and said, I have a $10,000 budget. I need somebody to build my Airtable. Who can build me a CRM in Airtable? It's the same thing that happens there. There's just a bunch of sharks trying to go after the money because Smart Suite profit sharing is like 40 or 60% or something.
Is it really that high?
I'll pull it up. It's crazy.
Wait, here. Look, I just Googled Smart Suite. I'm not in my main account. So you've got actually Smart Suite in YouTube, but then you've got, okay, look at this. Look at Smart Suite in 4 minutes. Who is this? What is this? Who are you? Okay, but wait, it gets better. I'm gonna make a point here in a minute. Okay, so there's Gareth. Gareth, take the hat off. Another Gareth hat. But this is the one that's killing me. So you're on Smart Suite, but then you keep scrolling, and what do you get to? Goodbye to all my friends. Okay, now what does that have to look? All these Smart Suite videos, and then goodbye to all my friends. There's a whole.
I just texted you a link if you want to open it and then
open it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. I'll open it in my Zoom or open it like with my camera here.
I sent it to you via text.
Oh, there it is. The affiliate program. Look at this. He's shaking your hand.
Scroll down.
By the way, I would buy anything from him. He's attractive. So keep scrolling. Start earning today. Affiliate program. Social media influencers, writers. Oh my God, they're basically saying anybody. Entrepreneur.
50%.
Huh?
Did you see it? 50% commission.
Are you kidding me? Nope.
Why do you think so many people are making videos about how they're experts on it and how it's such a great tool?
So basically, everybody who signs up from watching one of these people's videos makes 50% of the sign up?
I think it's like for the first year, but yes.
Total income. So basically, this is Amway for databases. You probably don't know what Amway is.
I do not know what Amway is.
This is MLM for databases. So it's like a Nerium or, where you're just basically getting all your friends to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The millennials holding cash, if you can get someone to buy your database program. Oh, I had no idea this had become so cringe. Oh, Amway. Thank you, Shayla. I'm sorry, I'm over 50. Amway was a big deal when I was growing up. It was really weird because my parents had friends who got into Amway, and basically, if we had to like buy all their damn Kool-Aid, and like if we didn't, and then like once we started buying their Kool-Aid, then we thought, well, they got my mother convinced that she should sell the Kool-Aid, which is basically there was like some Tang drink or something. Then my mother's out like selling the Kool-Aid door to door, like, and she's selling Avon and every other damn product. Go high-level ClickFunnels. My parents were the Amway guy butts. Why are you always in my life with your stories that align to mine? My dad was in Herbalife was another one. Okay, thank you, Jen Rudd. Why can't we get Jen Rudd in here talking?
Jen, do you want to join?
Have Jen join.
Jen,
or
send in the chat if you want to join.
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you want to join. I literally had a meeting with an Amway person yesterday. I'm sorry, Shayla. I didn't mean to drag that. Mine was from the 70s, so I was only saying that because of that. I'm glad to know they're still around, though. What were the pants all the ladies were wearing that were like an MLM? Jen wants to know how she joins.
Just say the magic word and I'll try.
I think she said it.
Jen, you have to be on the Facebook app on your phone.
Oh, Jen, you have to be on your phone. If you want to join, you have to be on your phone. Airtable is great for tracking Amway customers. See, Dave is another one. I have to be very careful with him. He's very smarmy. And I kind of like it, but I'm also afraid of Dave. LuLaRoo, thank you. Thank you, my friends. LuLaRoo. Smart Suite is the LuLaRoo. Smart Suite is the LuLaRoo. And Jen, you can do it. I didn't want to do it because I can't put the fancy filter on my phone. You see my full ugly mug without the glossy Vaseline lens that I normally have. Look at, I'm getting laughs. Maybe I should just do Airtable stand-up. So, you know, I had this automation once. Gosh. Amway ownership family. Davos. Okay. Chris says don't go anywhere. Can't keep up with people. We really should do more of these communities. Come on, people, get on your phone and join us.
Did you know Dave before this or Kim before this?
No, I don't know any of these people. I mean, I talk to them online, but not like we hang out. I would hang out with them. I'm not saying I wouldn't. Speaking of that, do you remember from our conference? There's Jen. Hey, Jen Rudd.
Hello, how are you?
Fine. How long have you been in watching us?
Like a few minutes. Hannah was posting on it in the Slack, so I joined.
So did you miss me being horrible saying how he needs to go?
Yes, I missed part of the conversation. So
I was being horrible. Sorry about that. We're going to pull you in 1 second. I'm going to finish something else. So do you remember Airtable in Austin, Texas? Jen, did you go to Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember there was a tall guy, younger, had a mustache? He did a talk. He worked for a gay vesting firm. Do you guys remember him?
No, not Charlie.
If I can find his name, I might be able to show you a picture of him. I can show you a picture of him. Because I have the funniest story I want to share with you. This guy, Jalen. Do you guys remember Jalen from the conference?
Vaguely, yeah.
Oh, wait, he came with Allie?
Yeah, he did come with Allie. God bless her.
Yeah.
Jalen, I'm not lying, and no tea. I mean, no shade, all tea. Jalen does, what's that? Twitch. Jalen does Airtable on Twitch, shirtless. And people just come for him to make gay jokes, because he's kind of buff, and do Airtable consulting, like, well, not consulting, he like builds faces in front of people while he's making gay jokes shirtless. I just want you all to know that there is a large contingent of the TikToker type, Twitch type people who are following him and paying him to do shirtless Airtable builds. I'm just saying, not you, Jen, and I'm not saying you do this, that would be inappropriate, but I'm just saying you probably could do it. You're young and attractive. But like, are we missing the boat by not having some type of overly sexualized Airtable chats?
I don't. It depends on your market, since Airtable is doing enterprise only.
What we do call our conference Airtable. Oh, only fans for Airtable. There, Shayla said what I wanted to say. Why is there not you know what? I should start an OnlyFans for Airtable. Okay, I guess everyone's watching the consultants try to get some. That's the other thing I want to talk about. We'll talk about Jen first, but I do, before we end today, I want to talk about consulting, because I just answered a question on Reddit about consulting. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people are asking questions. Let me read the last one. Just been down the Smart Suite rabbit hole. That guy does YouTube tutorials for Smart Suite is the same guy who does YouTube for Softer. Yeah, I think, yeah, whoever said that about the guy, Paul was saying that. Yeah, he does. I think his whole money is just doing videos for people, which is cool. We used to have that when I was growing up. We called it Sesame Street. So Jen, sorry, you make videos for children. Jen, you get my sense of humor. I'm horrible at a very low level. So Jen, how have you been? Tell us what you think about the changes. On the agenda, we want you to address the recent pricing changes, the layoff, and then community. Go.
Put me on the spot on a long day. So I think that I know people at Airtable who actually still work there, thankfully. And I think the consensus still is that there is a lot of like build, and it was still built for small and medium businesses. Like I still think that the people who work there still believe that, and I don't think that that's the general consensus, is that it's only about enterprise. That being said, there's always going to be the figurehead of an organization saying something. Do I think part of it is that there's investors involved and they're trying to work for the investors? Probably. But I think that, yes, the pricing changes kind of make you decide whether you're a hobbyist or a business owner and price accordingly.
I think investors were involved too, but where I'm confused is I know investors. I mean, the AI conference I'm doing is with Norwest, which is one of the biggest venture firms in Silicon Valley. Usually after your second, third, and fourth round of layoffs and business pivots, they stop laying off people and replace the leadership.
Yeah, I think that I just don't know what ventures behind Airtable is probably a better thing if they're just looking at numbers, right? I don't know what their makeup looks like, but listening to investors all day and listening to what people are saying, most people are just like, okay, this sucks, but what do I got to pay now? Which is unfortunate, but I mean, this is what happens when we build our businesses on quicksand.
Yeah. I mean, well, Airtable has brought you to the conference at least once, maybe twice, to speak on their behalf. I know you spoke in Texas. Did you speak in California?
Yes, but I just did a workshop.
Okay. It's hard for me to keep track. It's not that you're not important. I just have a lot in my head.
Okay.
I feel, and you weren't here for this, was early in the call, they also don't do a really good job with their ecosystem. They have like what I call their tier one ecosystem. So people who've been consultants and helping them out for a long time. I put you in that group, Dan, a bunch of folks. You know, obviously Gareth has been around forever, although Gareth is basically like Walter Cronkite for Airtable. And then you've got the newer ecosystem, which are all, like they're basically anybody who has a web page that has the word enterprise and SaaS. You can sign up, and they will literally say that, welcome our new partner, Joe's SaaS Services. And then they basically contract out someone to do the work for Joe's SaaS Services, but they look like they have a partner ecosystem. Do you have an opinion, or do you feel comfortable sharing your opinion? I just feel like the more traditional and ecosystem partners have always been mistreated, or not treated with enough reverence.
I think the partners program has drastically improved over the last year. I think that Al and Josh were doing a great job, and then the rug got pulled out underneath them. I think Nelson is doing a much better job, but I think it just took some time and also some initiative from internal. I just think that the organization in general is just going through a lot of growing pains or shrinking pains or pains in general.
Yeah.
But I think like I've been invited to partner programs. Like I was just complaining about a tool that is a glue in their partner program, and the 150 people are in the partner program, and that doesn't really strike confidence for anybody either. So
the partner programs, that thing Ben you showed me where you guys sign up and then you can like browse all their partners and you can get reviewed. It's like officially on their site, and then they pass through to you. Is that what you mean when you say that?
Like partner page.
Yeah, partner page type of thing. Yeah. So there's that, and I think there's also just people being recommended for certain relationships based on what their skill sets are and stuff like that. But I mean, I think it's relationship building in general. I just don't think that. I mean, everybody's a SaaS consultant now because it's low code, right? Or no code. Yeah. Or
Dave said Airtable feels like a house that has had additions attached to it. using different building materials, different styles, different philosophies. Okay. And then Nicole, do you want to join if you do get on your phone? She's a Walter Conrad of Airtable. Sorry, trying to keep up with the Airtable. Donald Duck style, nice. Okay, sorry, we're back in that ugly sexual space. Airtable introduced, or Smart Suite introduced scripting when I tried to convert a client to Smart Suite. Okay, we're still talking about Lulu. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of respect for like kind of the tough position you might be in, Jen, because I feel like, and maybe even Ben too, you guys have like a definite relationship with Airtable at that. You know, you're trusted. They trust you to carry their brand messaging. I think in some ways they trust you too. But I think, you know, again, I'm saying I'm really struggling with how many people were affected by the latest riff internally. Reduction.
Yeah, it's ugly, and I feel really bad for them, and I think it's hard in general, just because you actually have you're friends with them, right? You talk to them every day. You're kind of in the weeds with them, and I think it's hard, especially because they kind of drank the Kool-Aid too. That's why they're there. Like, nobody's there because they think it's just a cool SaaS job. I think they're doing it because they really want to be there. So I think that's the hardest part, is I think everybody really wants Airtable to succeed, and they want to be a part of it, but it's probably difficult in the wake of the numbers, right?
Yeah, we got a comment here I think you'll love. It says, Mel says, the Airtable partners page looks like Fiverr.
I haven't looked at it recently.
You know, I think that might be the quote of the damn event today for the town hall, because it does kind of look like Fiverr. Ben, you want to go look at it and pull it up? I can't, my computer's rebooting.
I'll add it to our comment in case people want to go check it out.
Add it to the comments. Has anyone heard from Camille lately?
Yeah.
Camille is busy at work.
Camille has a job.
She has a full-time Airtable job.
At Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Off topic. I got a flyer for. Look at Jen. Jen, you know me.
I'm just saying.
I got a flyer for Highlights for Children.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What I did not know is Highlights is the third in a series of magazines for kids, and it's for 6 to 12. There's actually something before Highlights called High Five, and something before that called Hello. Is it called Hello?
Right.
Hello. Have you got?
I haven't seen Hello, but I've seen the High Five. I have a 6-year-old, so
Okay.
we're a scholastic household and Highlights and all that stuff.
I've been thinking about ordering Highlights for Children just because, even though I'm older now, I enjoy reading. Would you order? Do you think? Should I order it?
Yeah, I read through it when the kids leave it out.
Okay. I used to like to follow the maze and find the two things that are alike. It really helped me. So Angie said, I looked at the partners page today, and there were 48 options. I reached out to support to help, and they told me my issue was outside their scope and referred me to their partners page. Oh, I did not. Did you know that support's sending people to the partners page now? Look at Jen shaking her head. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even know support respond. Usually my support response is I send them a support request, and then the first response is, did this answer your question? And then the next one is, how was your conversation with this person? But yeah, I almost never get a response anymore.
I did have a response. I did get like the did you unplug it? I'm like, yes, I did. And it was, I found that it was like session box, and I was having trouble with lag times. So
every time I've had to contact support, the same response is always, so Ben, I get the same thing. Like, you know, did you try this? And then you fill out something. But it's clear your cache, reboot your computer, you know, do all these things you know you've done. And I'm just like, I used to install support systems. The first thing you do on a support system ticket is, if you get a ticket in, you see if someone's actually ticketed you before. Before you enter them, you see what type of questions they ask. And you see, like, is this someone I should treat like it's their first day on the planet? You know, support treats you like you maybe have never opened Airtable. Have you considered closing your browser? First, I somehow figured out how to open the browser to message you, God damn it.
I initiated it from my base, so yes.
I'm considering closing my browser right now, actually, as we speak, reading your message. If you've been copying and pasting records and pasting the wrong things and things even through damn sales copy. Yeah. Yes, Kim, I've had that happen. I have something right now where I duplicate a record and the whole thing just blows up. I don't know what's happening. And I'm to the point where I'm just manually creating records because I don't want to contact support. I sent a video of it not working or working erratically, and they said, clear your cache. Yes, Kim, I said, clear your cache. You know, it's like when your mom says, make sure you take a bath before you go out, because if you're killed, you want to be nice for the guy who's going to scrape you off the road. At least my mom said that to me. It's like, you don't tell young people to clear your cache. You guys hate me, don't you? You secretly think I'm just out of my mind and somehow making my way through the world haphazardly.
Your base is way more than I would put into my personal database, so I don't have any.
You don't have my Airtable base?
Yeah, your Airtable base that you have all of your goddesses and so forth, the deities.
It's so good. It's so good. And are you using AI? Should we move to positive stuff about AI?
Yeah, if you figure out how to chain without like writing like 5,000 fields, I'd love to know.
Say that again.
How to chain prompts.
Oh, I just create more fields.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
Well, I did hear through inside Airtable coming this week or soon will be Ben, are you using AI?
I have access, but I have not used it at all yet.
This week is the ability to, so right now the way it works is, Ben, you'd say, like you use ChatGPT, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you go to ChatGPT and you set up your prompt. You are an Airtable assistant. You give just common Airtable formulas. You structure them this way. Users will submit questions to you. You basically do a nice prompt. So it's the same type of thing. You go and you do a real nice prompt, except after you do all that, instead of putting in the thing, you say what you're going to do. So in this case, mine says, you analyze the user's feelings, and I put in the feelings field, and the user will sometimes share with you their journal, and then point to the journal field, kind of like when you're doing scripts or automations. Long story short, when you're doing it, if you add a field you want it to consider in the AI, and that field doesn't have a value yet, AI doesn't. Jen, you've seen this, right? Mm-hmm. You've seen this, right? Where like
where it's like empty, it won't let you run it until it has something in there.
It's going to be, they're going to make it optional. So you can say,
but it counts against your runs though.
But just the fact that I can say this field doesn't need to be filled out before the AI will work makes me happy.
Yeah. I mean, Kevon will probably say you can just use a formula to only show what you need, right?
Hold on, it says, Chris.
The fact that they're betting the farm on AI is kind of surprising, because I feel like enterprises don't want to use AI as much because of security risks. Like, it's a very prosumer tool to add in.
Totally. Yeah, I've had people who can barely get over the OAuth problem with their IT departments, and yet they want to open up AI.
Or everyone's just using it anyway. I don't know. To me, what I did here in the county, I've got 2 people I'm working with. I had AI classes first before I did anything with them. Then after we created an AI policy. So basically, everyone in the county had to sign the policy. After we did that, I then went in and did 2 Airtable no-code classes for the health department and for the sheriff's department. So they could just create just anything. After those 2 things, I then gave them a contract to build something using those 2 things.
Chris, I've got to wrap it up because I have to jump off, and it's going to kick off.
Yeah, I got to get going in a minute too.
Sorry for cutting you off. But
for everything.
Always.
Bye, guys.
Talk to y'all. Thank you.
Great to see everybody.
Yeah.